is No Gifts Please, the parenting podcast by the pair with no real gifts, but a whole lot of gumption. Hey everyone, I'm Steve Noviello.
And I'm Jenny Anchondo.
And welcome to Season 2.
I can't believe it.
We burned through Season 1, I gotta say.
We really did.
Fast
it's been
and furious.
So much fun.
It's been so many things. I mean, you've had a baby. I mean, we will get to that in a second. But first up, so we've got a very special episode for you today. We thought, what better way to kick off Season 2 than to do a live stream online as well. I've actually taken the day off of work today just to be here with you so that people can engage with us. So you can chat with us in the comments. You can ask questions if you want, if you're interested in what we're talking about. But also to kind of give people a feel of what it is we've been doing. I have to say, the podcast has been super popular with folks, which has been really nice.
That's selves on
back. Well, hey, listen, why not?
No, it has been. It's just been fun for us to, I mean, we hang out in our personal lives, so it's been fun to kind of like do this with everybody else. And I'm on maternity leave, which is, I have no business being here right now because it's just like from here down, I think there's spit up on my pants. These socks have been on, I think, for 3 days. I've not tied my shoe. I didn't even know my feet fit into shoes anymore.
So I will say it's strange for you to not be pregnant. I mean, those of you who have been following along, your IVF journey was years long.
Yeah.
So to see you not pregnant is strange.
It is a little weird.
Because you've been pregnant for 4 years.
It's truly. Yeah. Truly, I've been pregnant for a very long time. So here we are. It feels just so, I mean, honestly, if anybody's ever been in that postpartum phase, like the first time you leave the house, you're thinking like, is there a nursing top down? Are we okay? Is there, again, the spit up? It's just a very bizarre feeling because I've done so little this postpartum. Yeah, this is it. This is my big outing.
It's also been super busy. And I will say, so I finally got to meet, so let's kind of start there.
Sure.
So Gemma was born December 28th.
Yes.
Okay, right on time.
Right on time.
I just met her 2 days ago, 3 days, Super Bowl Sunday.
And you're one of two friends that have visited. Nobody.
No, who have been allowed to visit. I'm assuming there have been offers.
No, you're right. You're right. It's not that people haven't been, but we had like a crazy rocky journey. And everybody does, like everybody after baby, crazy stuff happens. You expect that it's going to be peaceful and calm, and it's not. She ended up with a high fever at Children's Hospital overnight. I mean, she's fine now, but like that was week 3. So, and then I've had like this weird numbness in my hands where I still can't grab things. Like a postpartum strange symptom. So we've been back and forth to the doctor. So it's not that I don't want people around her, but I mean, we've just been kind of in and out. And also I know this is the last time I'm going to do this.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm just kind of soaking it up. And well, if you visit the house, like there's not cleaning your house for somebody and then there's letting them come to your house right after you have a baby. That is a new level of just like friendship.
Here we are. I have to say,
what did you think when you walked in?
I'm thrilled. And I kind of, because you've had one for so long and she's been out of the big stuff and the countertop appliances phase for so long that I was really tickled to see what just a mess your house is.
It's truly a disaster. And I have to tell you too, like that, I actually did like clean up a little bit. I actually did. But it was just like there's
the bottle washing and the nursing stuff,
all the pumping supplies.
I mean, the pumping things, charging on the kitchen counter.
Were you weirded out by that a little bit?
Come on. I mean, no. I mean, you breastfed this child 2 feet from me.
That's true. So. Well, it's kind of like if somebody visits you, that's the thing. You have to be, if they visit, you have to be comfortable with the baby like eating right there at any given moment and for a very long period of time.
And I got to feed her and she's beautiful.
Oh my gosh,
she really is.
It was so sweet. You were able to take part in the triple feed.
I was.
So thank you for that because it's like this very time consuming thing. And so Steve and the one other friend who have come over, it's like, okay, hi, good to see you. But also you're going to have to help in this situation because we rotate her from nursing, then burping, then feeding a bottle, and then pumping. And so you fed the bottle.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you.
So speaking of thank yous, I want to thank, shout out to Vandergriff Toyota Acura Honda is back with us for Season 2. They have been a huge supporter. It's funny. It's weird to be on the other side of that equation when it comes to sales, right? And particularly for this show, because as we were looking for advertisers, people would say, well, how many listeners do you have? And we hadn't started yet. So we were
zero so far.
We have none.
Thanks to you guys, we now have some. I'm seeing people pop on, and thank you for the comments.
Yeah, as opposed to our day jobs where it's like, hey, we're
I have no idea how that works.
Right? And quite frankly, I don't care how that works because that's not, part of my job. So thank you again to, the folks at Vandergriff who've been great partners and great supporters in so many things that we've done, particularly about this new project. So we're glad to have them back for season 2.
Yeah. So hit them up.
Hit them up. Please
right?
do. Please
yes.
do. Yeah. So go tell Charlie Evans I said hi. Okay, so it only seems fair, let's get to our topic for today, to kind of begin season 2 in the same spirit with which our podcast is based. So for those of you who are tuning in for the first time, No Gifts, Please, kind of a play on first of all, the idea that we have no special gift for parenting.
Truly.
That if you've listened to season 1, that is clearly evident. And then also our job here is to help you kind of decode the great mysteries of parenting, like what does it mean when an invitation says no gifts, please, which I think means no gifts.
It's a conundrum. I have beef with you. By the way. So Steve has for years been inviting me to his children's birthday parties. And at the bottom, it says no gifts, please. Occasionally I listen to it. Occasionally I do not. And I know it frustrates him when I don't. But then he shows up at my house.
With a gift.
Well,
but here's the thing.
Not any gift. This is a unicorn suitcase with an attached scooter that is now Brighton's most prized possession.
Well, because listen, I know that there has been so much focus on this baby coming, right? On Gemma.
Yeah.
And she's got a new room and she's got this and people are coming to see her. And I'm sure that Brighton is not getting nearly the amount of one-on-one time that she used to get. It would be physically impossible. So taking a cue from your girlfriend at the baby shower I went to, who everyone was there again, bringing gifts for the new baby.
Yeah.
And one person brought a gift for Brighton and I was like, oh, that's really nice. And I marked it in my mind. I thought when we go to meet Gemma, I want to make sure we bring something for Brighton to congratulate her on the occasion of becoming a big sister.
It was honestly really sweet, and she felt the love. I mean, she had so much fun playing with the boys. She hasn't had any friends over either this whole time because I'm like, I can't really handle a play date right now. But your boys coming over, they just took care of themselves.
I mean, we got there before she did. So, I mean, at one point, my kids were just at your house playing by themselves.
I'm like, just open up the crates. I don't know.
Come on in. Yeah. Okay. So I want to talk about birthday parties. Mm-hmm. So Jacob's birthday is coming up. We have planned a party.
How many people did you invite to the party? Do you want to tell them?
So this is the thing, right? So there are some kids, and again, I'm not saying people do it right or wrong or whatnot, right?
I feel like you are.
It's a great privilege to be able to have a birthday party for any child, right? Some people do, okay, it's a boy, we're only doing boys.
Yep.
Some girls are only girls. Jacob is like, I don't want to feel anybody should be left out. Yeah. I want to invite my whole class. Absolutely. And by the way, I do think that they're still at an age where you invite the whole class, right?
You don't exclude kids at this age. I agree.
Okay.
Our kids are 6, 7-ish.
Right. So the whole class is 21 kids. Okay. So that's 21.
It's the whole grade, or that's the whole class?
That's his classroom.
His classroom. Okay.
But then I've got a couple of buddies from last year that I like to hang out with. So I said, make a list. And that was maybe 4 or 5 kids. And then it's, okay, well, people like you, we've got family friends. So there's Brighton, right?
Totally.
And then we've got
some dad friends.
We've got some dad friends who have kids, great. And then it's, okay, well, he played soccer and there's a couple of kids in a soccer team. So anyway, 467 kids later.
I know. It's like when you have a small wedding.
But that's the thing. I was talking to another mom and I was like, what are we doing here? Like, because she was also planning a party around the same time. And I was like, and I saw her invitation and I was like, you are a better woman than me, because she had like 40 some odd kids on this list.
Wow.
I said, these are going to be like wedding sized parties by the time they're in 4th grade. At what point do you say, okay, we've got to cut it? And she said to me, she goes, I've already told my son next year, it's like, pick 3 friends, let's go to a Mavs game, and we're done with it.
Oh, well,
or whatever.
I was thinking like go to like an arcade or something. We'll get you a suite at the Mavs game, like a one-on-one with Mark Cuban, like no big deal, just 3 friends. So I do think it's like that 7-8-ish, because they start to really have their own actual friends outside of our friends, or outside of who we've sort of like aligned them with. Like, I like this person's mom and dad, so you're friends with them.
Well, that was the other thing too. Then there's a couple of kids. So again, Jacob's not super into sports. There's another mom that I know, her son also, and I was like, oh, they should hang out more, so let's invite him to this party, right? And now, okay, well, great. And well, now you're in Cub Scouts together. What about the other Cub Scout kids? And, all of that,
So as somebody who has two children who are pretty close together, do you do, like, what's the sibling policy?
So
I think this is kind of confusing.
Now we're getting into the meat of it, right?
Yeah.
So when the kids were younger, I remember the first time we had a birthday party, my mom said, you should put siblings welcome on the invitation. Now, at the time, we had a 2-year-old, and by the way,
She's
I don't know do you remember the first? I think you were there. I think it was at Strong Fitness.
It was at Strong.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
your parents were there.
I mean, we had like catering for like 100. It was people walked out of there with like trays of food.
And
I mean,
also
it was ridiculous.
The gift bags or the party favors.
It was a little over the top because we didn't know any better. Right now, it's like cupcake, juice box, you're out of here. Like, I'm not feeding your parents. I'm not, and I mean, we had like Chick-fil-A wraps and like all sorts of craziness.
We were
right?
full for days.
I mean, it was ridiculous, right? So, but now that they're a little older, right, I don't know that it's a siblings situation. So now I'm faced with the idea of, so I put out the invitation. It did not say siblings welcome. And people are RSVPing with multiples.
Siblings not welcome.
Correct. So I'm like, oh, what do you, and now I've got a place that's like, hey, we need a head count and there are, milestones we have to hit.
And you pay for each person.
Okay, so here's my other beef. Now, you tell me, the place that we're having the birthday party, which, by the way, looks super cool and I'm excited to experience it.
It does
I never
look cool.
have.
I'm pumped for it too.
Right, and like maybe we'll kind of revisit that after we have our experience.
We'll give them a rating. Let's see how they do.
But here's my thumbs down about the situation is, listen, I understand when you go to Six Flags, Disney, wherever, everybody pays to get in because everybody participates, right? They were like, okay, well, I said, oh, it's 28 kids or whatever it is. He said, okay, how many adults? And I was like, well, I don't really know. I said, there's going to be some drop-offs. Some people will hang out. Some people won't. Sure. I said, do you need to know how many adults? He said, well, it's a per person charge. And I was like,
I can't believe they're charging for grown-ups.
Right.
Can you guys believe they're charging for grown-ups?
Weird, right?
It's bizarre.
Like we went to
unless, I mean, I've never been there. So maybe I am going to get to ride a ride.
I don't like, and that's right. Like we went to a party last weekend. Bless this woman's heart. I mean, it was a bunch of kids at a very busy place in Frisco where it was pay per person. So she paid for adults and kids. But the adults, once inside, were not permitted to engage in any of the activities that the kids are. So it's like,
also strange.
Right? Like, do you really want 28 people just dropping their child off here? I think that the charging for adults thing is a little weird.
Unless they're being fed or get to do something.
Right. Unless it's like, hey, it's Six Flags or, where you just go and now everything is, you can participate.
You too get to pet the alligator. They have to have something. But I think with the siblings, that is on you.
It is on me. It is.
You should have said,
it's on me.
This is a limited capacity situation.
Correct.
We can't accommodate siblings.
I didn't know how to word it, right? Well, so okay,
told you.
You should have called me.
Because we've totally been there,
okay.
And it's starting to be that thing where if there's a ton of siblings and just a few friends, then the birthday person can feel a little bit as they're turning 7. Like, where's my friends? This is a bunch of like
siblings,
people I don't know.
Okay, what's your opinion on RSVP? Like. So I set a date.
Need to.
Well, no, 1,000%.
I mean, I wouldn't have a bouncer outside the party, but
I set a date, and I'm not chasing you down, right? Like particularly if Evite tells me it was delivered and opened, like I'm not following up with you proactive. Like it's your job to RSVP, and I cut it. Like our date has passed.
Did I RSVP?
You did.
Okay.
For 2 parents as well.
No, so and I told you, but now we're just going to do one. We're going to do one because otherwise, then we're bringing a baby. Like it's messy.
So I cut it off because the venue was like, hey, we need to know how many people, because we want to be prepared for your people. We want to make sure there's enough seating and whatever else. So totally, I get that. But I'm like, hey, this is the RSVP date. And I went on to Evite and was like, shut it down. It's the date. Well, the date has passed.
No, I think that is fine. You have to be respectful of somebody's paying for it.
Not even the paying part, because again, listen, I am happy to pay for everybody who wants to come. That's totally fine with me. But it's now it's 3 days before the party and someone's like, oh, we are coming and there's 4 of us. And I'm like, okay, well, I've goodie bags for 4 fewer people, which by the way, we have a slime activity at this thing. And I'm like, that's the gift.
That's the gift.
That is the gift.
No, I agree.
Like I'm not putting a bunch of crap in a paper sack and, to make you, right?
Completely. I think parents don't want it. Like nobody wants it. The kids
don't send me home with a whistle from your party.
They don't want it. Do your boys ever feel like, can you say gifts, please? Like I see that you've told them not to bring gifts, but I would like a gift.
I don't think that. They get gifts from their dads. My parents will send a gift. My mother-in-law sends a gift. Their aunts and uncles send gifts.
They're fine.
Well, and listen, people like Jenny and Chando show up with a gift. There are gifts, right? We're the same way at Christmas as well. We don't want you to think that this is some sort of like cosmic cash machine, because, or that it's some sort of free for all, right? Although, now I will say, so after all of this like internal, struggle here, I got an invitation to a party for Hudson. And I think that this woman may have very well figured it out. Ready?
Tell me.
Here we go.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave off the kid. We'll rename the kid Jenny, right?
Okay.
Jenny is turning 5. Please join us at such and such to celebrate her 5th birthday. We will make, and she gives the activities and play games and enjoy cake. The venue requires a final head count by February such and such. Due to limited space, we kindly ask that only the child who's invited attend. No gifts, please. But if you must, you're welcome to bring your favorite book.
Cute. Nailed it. Copy paste for every invite from here on out. Excellent.
If you're listening, by the way, and you know who you are,
we love you.
Thumbs up.
She's like, I've been thinking about this for years because we know how hard it is to process it and think about it. I know some people that it's like they always bring the sibling, and then all of a sudden when it comes around to their party, they're like, no siblings. I'm like, come on, you've been dragging that family of 10 to every party.
Well, and again, listen, when it's smaller, I don't know why I think that that's different, but I guess I kind of do. Like when Jacob was 3 and his friends had newborn siblings,
it's different.
I get it, right?
Yeah.
I get it. There are like logistical childcare issues.
Right. Like they're feeding them or whatever. Yes.
Whatever. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. This person really did nail it because they're giving the explanation for it's not that we don't like the other siblings. I also think it's easier to say no siblings once the children can be dropped off. Yeah. So drop-off parties, I feel like for us has kind of started on when the child was turning 6.
Yeah.
We started to have some of those drop-off parties. I've dropped off. There's one place in Snyder Plaza that does like bath bombs and stuff.
Oh, that's cute.
It's really cute and it's very small and intimate. And there's like 5, organizers and then the parents and stuff. So you feel like, okay, this is like a 2-to-1 ratio. I'm fine with leaving her there. But usually I just stay. So
by the way, Doug, I was like, well, there'll be drop-offs. And he looked at me, he's like, are you out of your mind?
Really?
He's like, we are. I was like, I feel like this is an age where that happens.
Starting to be. I mean, well, how many are you at in terms of head count? I may side with Doug depending on where.
Well, but that's the other thing too. So the venue requires that your child. It's not a daycare, right? They require that some sort of adult supervision,
right? Which is you and Doug.
Yeah, apparently.
And Doug's mom. And your mom.
So we are capped here. We're 31. But some of that.
How many of those?
Right. How many of those kids? So that's 3 people for you. So that's not. So really, that's just 1.
Yeah.
Right. A couple of other people here I can see. There's a kid. I'm sure that's him and his dad. So we're probably 28-ish for kids, 27-ish, including our younger son.
And then TBD about how many of their parents stay.
Well, you're coming, so get ready.
Yeah.
A couple other parents. I think that some of them will hang out.
Will TJ be
TJ and Reed.
I was going to say TJ will be there, Reed will be there. They won't be bringing their own children, so they can be overseeing other people's children.
So and then there's my mother-in-law's there, and we're there, and I
think it'll generally be okay. These kids are in school all day,
right?
Together,
for sure.
Right, they're in school for however many hours they're in school, and they all behave with whatever ratio they have. I think it's going to be fine. He also,
it's funny, I was having dinner with friends yesterday who do not have children,
And you still have those? Just kidding. I actually have a ton of friends with no kids.
So every Tuesday night, because I have a commitment in the evening, I meet with the people who have the same commitment for dinner first, and then which is kind of
fun.
It's nice. It's also because I'm VP dinner the rest of the week, so it's also nice.
Then Doug is VP bath
He's VP bath and bed
story
on Tuesdays. Yes, both double header for him.
Do you get one of the or just?
Do I then have a double header in return? No,
because he doesn't want to go out and see
well,
people
that
like as much.
That, and I feel like I'm dinner every other day.
True.
I mean, I feel like that. And by the way,
for sure.
And let's be clear, when I say he's responsible for dinner, I mean he's responsible for taking our kids to my mother-in-law's house, where she will make some sort of like very creative.
It's a very dad
dish.
move.
Yeah, no. I mean, he's not like, like, no, there's no
it's
like.
not like carbonara or something.
He's not chopping or dicing anything. Like,
but he's doing like the bath and the bed and the getting
listen,
down.
as long as every time we bring them to the doctor, they're getting bigger, we're good.
Yes.
Like, I don't really care.
Okay, I feel like
happens.
I interrupted your story. You were going somewhere.
Which one?
I don't know. I don't know. I just have so little sleep right now.
It's fine.
It's
fine.
I have no idea.
So speaking of, so let's kind of preview the season a little bit. So I will say for those of you are like, okay, well, because this is our first time back together since the baby was born.
We've had episodes, but we pre-recorded those. We like batch recorded over the weekends.
Right. We knew that coming into this, there was going to be a baby and there was going to be leave and there was going to be time and whatnot. And then of course the December holidays and whatnot. So we recorded probably 6 weeks in advance. I mean, it was like insane. So now that we're back for our second season, it'll be much more kind of in real time, almost essentially. We'll probably knock out 2 at a time. So speaking of sleep, we've got a sleep expert coming in.
Yes, which I feel like is
just in the nick of time.
She is here just in the nick of time. I mean, it was a little self-serving that I booked her, but I think everyone's going to benefit. So we're going to talk about sleep from itty bitty baby up to teens.
And I'm also, and I'm so sorry, I'm ignoring our comments and whatnot here. So good morning, congratulations, Jenny, on the baby. All of these.
Oh, that's sweet.
All of these things.
So it's not normally on Facebook, by the way. If people are just kind of catching this, what you'll have to do in order to, and some of you will be hearing this on the podcast platform, what you'll have to do in order to find the podcast is search No Gifts, Please on iTunes, on Spotify. We are on YouTube. We don't really push it out there that much, but but on whatever podcast platform you listen to, you'll have to subscribe.
Yeah. So subscribe. It really, and also, I will say some of our best episodes from last season were ideas that people came to us with. I mean, we had a really popular episode on ADHD. We had a fun episode with Coach Whitney about, what do you do with kids who want to quit? I mean, Mabel's Labels. I mean, Julie Cole is still, I think.
Oh my gosh, she's a celebrity.
I had no idea.
The label world, in the child rearing world.
Yeah. I mean, she was fantastic. What were some of your favorites?
Halliburton Foundation. I was just thinking about, just that topic. It was more of a, heavy topic talking about mental health, but I think that's something we'll end up revisiting because it's just, there's been a lot of chatter in DMs after that one about how important that is. And just, I think as parents, we just wonder, what are we to do? What are we supposed to do with our young children in order to shore them up for the later phases of life?
Yeah. And it's interesting. And I think one of the other things, and we'll certainly be doing more of this. I mean, obviously your oldest and my oldest are within months of each other age-wise. And then of course we have a younger son who's now 5. You've got a newborn, but also a real focus too on making sure that we serve parents across kind of all, spectrums here. Kids have teenagers, kids have, kids that are preparing for college. Oh, parents have teenagers.
Kids do have teenagers sometimes.
Kids that are being prepared for college and that kind of stuff. So,
and a lot of people listening are not even parents. This is my favorite listener, is the person who's like, I'm not even a parent, or like my kids are like, have been out of the house forever, but we just like hanging out with you guys and listening. Because a lot of what this show is just, we were having conversations off air or one-on-one, and we thought this would be fun to just kind of get everybody in and have it be like a little side passion project for both of us outside of our regular jobs.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome. Well, listen, regardless of who you are, whether or not you have kids and how you're listening to us, we appreciate that you're here. Remember, you can listen to us every Tuesday morning. We have a new episode that drops every Tuesday, 7 a.m., wherever podcasts are found. We also are on YouTube as well, if you like this kind of more visual format. So we invite you to click subscribe. And if you do nothing else today, go find yourself a friend you don't need to clean the house for. We'll see you soon. Welcome back.